Emergency order. Turning that down a bit for myself. Hey everybody, it's Meowskivich. It's been a while. Especially for you people on YouTube. If you haven't known, my policies for doing Let's Plays have changed. You can hear some of that over at Daily Motion for you YouTube folks. And for you, well, the rest of you, who have been in the know, well, first, welcome to Metroid Zero Mission. And did my eyes just deceive me, or I don't know. Sorry, I was caught off guard by what just happened on screen. Alright. Sorry folks, I just woke up not too long ago. Alright, for all around, my policies are changing a tad bit. I'm basically only wanting to do games that I have permission from the companies themselves to do. And though I don't expressly have the permission of Nintendo to do Nintendo games, they gave me an answer basically, we can't give permission, but do what you want as long as it's not breaking the law. And so, with that, I'm going to be playing whatever Nintendo games I feel like until they say no. And that's that. Welcome to Metroid Zero Mission, a remake of the first Metroid. And this won't be the average Marshmallows Let's Play. You'll be seeing starting next video, I do believe. But yes, this is post-commentary. Reason being is because I have to record this off my consoles. I do not emulate. And I don't exactly feel like talking for 2 hours straight as I play a game. Possibly longer for other games. You go to first power up with the long beam, which lets you shoot across the screen. The only reason why it's a power-up in this game is because it was a power-up in the original. Which, who knows why it was a power-up there. Arrgh. And that's basically all the long beam does, just make you shoot further across the screen. And all you have to do is enter that and exit. Because all it is a little passageway tube that shows foreshadowing bosses, I guess. I should have put the thing in right, because I wasn't paying attention when I was choosing my file in the beginning. Should be playing on time trial mode right now, which is a secret mode that you can put in that's essentially just normal mode, really. There's zero difference other than on the file select screen, your file, instead of having white text, will be yellow. Instead of saying normal, it says time attack, and you actually have a thing in the options once you beat it for the first time that actually tells you your best time for the game. And as far as I know, it was used mostly for tournaments and whatnot, to have people play the game and beat it as best they possibly could. Or fast as they possibly could. We got missiles, which you'll see being used here shortly. I don't feel like explaining all these power-ups. Some of you know what these are. Missile's a missile. For those of you not in the know, if you look at the borders around the screen, you will notice that I am playing this on the Game Boy Advance player for the GameCube. Got it off my friend some bit ago, and I've been abusing it ever since. Yay, wall jumping. You need missiles to open those red doors. And I can obviously tell that it's been a while since I've done anything like this because I'm really not used to doing anything like this for a while. It's been since, I think, last year since I really did anything. Hey, missile tanks. Yeah, I didn't know about that secret passage originally. The file that was on this file beforehand was a 100% run, though that wasn't the most recent run I did. So I'm not going to find everything, and I will be honest, there are going to be quite a few things that I did not know about that I'll find as I play through the game. It's because I only remember, like, I don't know, I suppose 90% of the items by the item calculators, blah. And there I got fed up with that hive thing. Like right there's a missile tank. It's not too terribly hard to find, especially if you're paying attention to the map, but I would be lying if I say I didn't miss it probably my first 2 times playing through the game. Now the second time you find this charge worm, if you lose against him, he's just going to go back to the first spot he was, but he's more forgiving the second time around because he'll be open up for 4 attacks instead of the minimal 3. And beating him nets you the charge beam, one of the optional power-ups. Believe it or not, long beam is also optional. Now, a lot of the power-ups in this game are optional, but I do go get most of them. But if you're playing the game normally, you're going to be taken through to get all of them, except for the charge beam if you're not good enough. But yeah, all other power-ups are almost mandatory if you're playing the game normally. I, however, am not. I will be skipping at least 1 power-up. The others I go for just because I find them handy. And I'll point out any power-ups that I know for sure are optional. Or at least that I'm pretty sure are optional. Bombs and Morph Ball are not optional, by the way, and you will need at least 1 missile tank. Just because, you know, you gotta open doors somehow. And obvious secret is obvious. They should have just kept that hidden, I think. Is, you know, you're going to be coming out here to see that pillar right here, and the door's locked, so you're going to figure out that, hey, there are some places I'm going to need to bomb anyway. Just speaking as a game designer type thing, you know. One thing I find nifty about the charge beam that I didn't know the first few times playing through the game is, you notice you can kind of tackle foes in the air sometimes while you have your beam charged. It's called the charge attack, and it's basically just the same power as a charged up charge beam. It's just when you're somersaulting through the air, you will strike foes and hit them. Sort of like a weak version of the screw attack, one of the series' staple moves. Right now, I am doing one of the many basic advanced techniques called bomb jumping. For those who are not familiar with many of the tricks of the trade when it comes to Metroid, they introduced with Super Metroid, which a lot of people think is the best Metroid. I think Zero Mission is honestly the best Metroid. The map system is pretty perfect, in my opinion. It was, well, first the map was really introduced in Super Metroid, which was great, but the maps, they had icons telling you if there's an item in the room, like that little dot that's on the map right now, but that's all there was. There's no telling if, yes, you got the item, or no, there's still an item there, and that was bothersome because sometimes they'd be jerks and hide two items in the same room. But hey, it was better than nothing. Honestly, in Super Metroid, I'm not gonna lie, I learned one of the other advanced moves playing that game just because I couldn't find my way to Kraid's lair. Want to know what you have to do to get to Kraid's lair? Oh, I'll eventually show it off, but I'll tell you right now, there's this one block in an elevated room that you gotta hit with a super missile. I was basically about to just be done with the game at that point, just because I was like, okay, I have no idea where to go. And I don't feel like that was a great thing to pull early on in the game, you know? When I still don't really have any moves or anything. Basically have high jump boots, morph ball, bombs, and that's all you really got at that point in the game. But I learned how to do a wall jump, and I found my way to a hidden room with the spazer beam. And yeah, I don't really know. It's not my favorite Metroid, but it is pretty fun still. Probably second favorite if I had to be honest. In Fusion, they improved things a bit. They changed up the wall jump, which is basically as you would think it is. You jump off the wall. It's returned to normal in this game, like it would be in Super Metroid. You know, if you're deranged enough, you can just wall jump off of the same wall. But in Fusion, that ain't gonna be happening. In Fusion, I'm going to guess it's because the Fusion suit is lighter than the Chozo suit. But you go flying off of walls and that, so they remove the ability to let you break the game, essentially. But the wall jump is necessary for, I think, only one time in that game to get a missile pack hidden in the very first area. It's just a long, tall, narrow corridor. Of course, you could get the space jump and just ignore it later on in the game, but you want to get things sooner and while you're there, you know? And what we got now is Plasma Beam, but because it's speaking in gibberish, we can't do anything with it, but for some reason these blocks are now active. I am not entirely sure that it is mandatory. It might be, it might not be. I don't think it is, simply because you can get some pretty insane tricks going if you're a bomb jump master where you can bomb jump diagonally. But that's not a skill that I have any interest in ever really learning myself, just because I don't plan to play the game religiously. And the power grip falls under the same category because you need to get the plasma beam in order to get the power grip. Here you can see me wall jumping. Not perfectly, but I'm doing it at least. And the power grip lets you grab onto ledges. There's a neat power-up that should have been in all of them. It's only in Fusion and in here. But yeah, speaking of Fusion again, I can't remember how well the maps are in that game. I remember something in it being archaic as well, but I don't remember what it is, so I'm not really going to care to speak much further other than that. But I love Fusion. It's the first game of the series I played. And yeah. Prime being the second one I've played. Let's see. Thanks. Oh yeah. In this game, if in case you weren't looking, I'm pretty sure you have by now. You'll notice on the map the white dots and the white circles. I told you about the white dots signaling item rooms inside of Super Metroid. In this game, white dots means you got the item, and this white circle, if you see right there, it means there's an item still there. And once you get an item, it turns into a white dot. So, that's an improvement that this game has over it. Unfortunately, though, this game lacks the X-ray visor that's seen in Super Metroid. So, you're not going to be able to find things that easily without shooting the walls everywhere all the time. Or using power bombs that you get at the very end of the game that have no purpose other than to search for items you may have missed. In fact, some of its only purpose is to just get more power bombs. That's the only real purpose, that is. This is a shame and really weird. And why include that item very last second when it can literally be used for nothing in the area that you can get it in? Like, you can't hurt the final boss with it, I don't believe. You can't hurt the enemies around the place with it, well, except for the weakest ones. And the weakest ones you can just pop with 2 shots of your beam, so there's not much point in wasting a limited ammunition for that, you know? I guess it comes to the dominant strategy theory. Which I'd like to remind people, it's just a theory and not, well, it's not even a theory, it's more of an effect. effect. I'll be perfectly honest with you, speaking as a game designer. Because, yeah, the dominant strategy theory. Oh, Ice Beam it is mandatory, by the way. You need it for the Meteorids. Yeah, dominant strategy is not going to be always going to happen case. I mean, I'll use Kirby, for example. In the Kirby games, inhaling foes and spitting them out, in most of the games, is the best method for hurting foes and defending yourself. Because, you eat your enemy, and you spit them out to destroy other enemies from a long distance, and it does the most damage in most of the games. However, most people, myself included, don't want to just use the spitting power-up, they want to use the fun power-ups, Use sword, go ha-cha-cha-cha, and slice up your enemies. Use your foe, fly around, zap foes. Use beam, shoot out little bits of energy and other stuff like that. You want to do something flashy and cool, but it's not the best method for fighting foes all the time. And that's my say on the dominant strategy effect. Because in other times, like I said, in this game, I'm not going to use the power bombs when I can just use my infinite use beams that will kill them quicker anyway. And that's it for this video. See you later, and goodbye.